Hi, my name is Raleigh Wilkins, and I'm glad that you joined us today. I'll be your lead instructor as we explore the topic, setting effective sales targets for sales leadership teams. This is an important target, and I should know, I spent over 25 years leading and developing sales teams at companies from startups to Fortune 100, and I know how challenging it can be and when you sit down in Q4 and start planning out for the coming year. In this short overview, we're going to take an overview look at all the factors to take into account when you're setting up your sales quotas. We're not going to be able to go deep on every area today, but we are going to go really deep on one area that's critical, which is how to calculate the impact of sales force attrition on your top line sales goals so that you can build that number into your sales goal. But we're also going to take a step back and take a look at a number of different topics related to sales planning and the things that you need to be aware of as you start to create your plan this year. So let's go ahead and jump right in. It's always helpful when you start a presentation and know a little bit more about the person who's presenting. I can't tell you how many times I've been approached by people on LinkedIn or so-called experts who had a year or two of experience and then spent the next 5 years trying to teach me how they did what they did for a year. If you haven't failed the way I failed over 25 years and you've never been able to succeed. And so before we get started, I just want to take a moment, if you'll indulge me, and tell you a little bit about myself. So who is Raleigh Wilkins? Who am I? Well, across 25 years of experience, I've been at companies such as NASDAQ, Alere, MarketWired, Elsevier, Opron, T-Mobile, in roles from account executive through senior vice president of sales. But before that, I served 6 years in the United States Marine Corps, where I learned the fundamentals of leadership and leadership development. I can tell you that those early years formulated in the military certainly shaped my experience, and they're going to be imparted as the things that we talk about as we go across our next hour here together. But most importantly, it's going to be the failures that I had and the lessons that I learned as an early career sales manager when I sat down and put my name to numbers that I didn't yet know if I could succeed. And as I moved past that initial first sales manager role into sales director roles and VPs of sales, I made sure to keep those lessons front of mind. And so I want to impart those on you, that these are lessons are learned over the course of time, that I may not be the expert on everything that there is to do with sales, but I certainly have experience that I want to impart on you today. And if you're sitting down to do your sales quotas, there's things that we're going to really want to take a deep dive into. And whether you're a manager, a director, a VP of sales, or even a sales rep who's just trying to get a leg up and understand how leadership makes decisions, this video should be extremely impactful for you. Because it's not as simple as saying last year we did $1 million in sales and this year we want to do $2 million in sales. There's a lot more that goes into that planning process. And so we're going to overview that now. Some of the goals that we go through, I use the same methodology that we used in the Marine Corps. It's called TLO and ELO methodology. TLO is a terminal learning objective. That's knowledge for the sake of knowledge. But enabled learning objective is the more important part. And that's what are you going to be able to do with this knowledge once you learn it. So the top 4 objectives for the course are here. We want to understand what the core challenges are as you head into your annual target. So what are they going to be? What are some of the things to be aware of? How about the relationships that you're going to need to know between things like the goals that you set, drive the targets that you create, and the metrics that you need to evaluate at the time of year that you're going to do it. These are all extremely important concepts to understand, and we're going to overview them here. We're also going to make sure that we define the key terms, understand the impact that we can have from incremental changes. So changing a comp plan one direction to another can make a huge impact on your ability to deliver results. And finally, we're going to understand the impact of sales team attrition on your top line sales quota. This was a critical piece that I missed really early in my career. And so while we can't go deep on every aspect today, we're going to go pretty deep on that one. The outcomes, what should you be able to do after doing this course? You should be able to participate more fully in those roundtable discussions with executive teams. Whether that's on your annual planning or in your quarterly business review or your monthly business review, you're going to have the nomenclature and vernacular to be able to do that. You're going to be able to create a 360 approach to your sales quota target and planning so that you're not going to think in terms of just revenue production, but also all the tools that you're going to need in place to support that. And how do you create an effective sales team strategy? We're not going to take a deep dive today into territory planning or in the metrics that you're going to need to use, but we are going to take a deep dive into calculating the impact of attrition on your sales team's goals. We're going to spend probably 20 minutes doing that. I'm going to review tools for you. And at the end of this, I'm going to give you an attrition calculator that you can use online. And then there's going to be links throughout this presentation where you can link back with me. And if you've watched this video, I'll give you a free 30-minute consult while I'll walk through your numbers with you so that as you go into planning, you don't do what I did and take bad deals.